What it takes to get licensed in some different states is some states make you take a test and classes. Other states you just have to have experience. For example, with Pennsylvania, you need to have 3 years experience working for another investigator. That has to be proven experience. You go to court, stand in front of a judge, everything like that. Then he basically grants it, whether you come back with a clean background check and everything works out.
I was hired by a company to investigate a service tech and his activities while he's working to make sure he's performing his duties. He had a terminal that he would actually type in each stop, and that would keep a record of where he was. And this could be altered, and that was the reason for the surveillance. I hired Jason. It was an all-day surveillance. We followed the driver throughout the day and see what he's up to.
I remember we started in the morning at his house, and he had come out probably, I guess it was around 7:30 or so, which was most likely his start time. Did some stuff on the computer and then went back into his house for about an hour. We found out later that he actually had clocked in on the computer, so I think he was altering his start times and his finish times. And then we followed him around to a couple stops, and then I believe was it in the morning we followed him to his rental house that he owned?
Right, it was a rental house, and he was taking care of the property during the daytime when he should have been working.
Yeah, we had to monitor every address that he went to compare it to what his actual schedule was for his service calls. So I think after a couple of the service calls, we had followed him into a vacant parking lot. It was a strip mall and it hadn't opened yet, so there weren't many cars there or anything like that.
Right, and he parked near the back of the parking lot.
He sat there for a few minutes, and I pulled in and parked and had a front row, view right there. And it was a couple minutes later.
A few minutes later, a vehicle showed up with a female driving.
Yep. So he.
This is where it got interesting.
Yeah. Then he got out of the truck and went over and got into the passenger seat of her car. They were making out, and it seemed, kind of interesting. We weren't sure if this was maybe his wife or anything like that. And then it just, apparently our service guy got serviced by this woman, and we had a front row seat for it. And
then after the service was complete, he got out and adjusted himself, and then went back to work.
Went back to doing his stops. Later, I figured that what we should do is go back to his house and wait there to see if this was in fact his wife or not. So we went back, and after a few minutes, around end of workday, the wife came home, and it was not the same girl that was in the car.
It actually turned out that the subject had been recently married about 3 weeks prior. At the end of the case, we presented the client with the videotape in our surveillance report, which also revealed that he wasn't performing the stops when he was scheduled to make them. He was falsifying his logs. Plus, the video showed what had took place in the parking lot. The subject decided it was better not to fight the fact that he falsified his logs based on the video because he was married. So that's how that case ended.